Hey there, welcome again to Mom for Real channel. I am Oluwaseyi Fadairo, your regular host on this platform. And on today's episode, we'll be discussing how to raise a regular Christian child, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Permit me to read from my journal. I wrote down some things and I would like to read and we'll share thoughts from that. I said, she goes to church with her physical jotter and pen, but instead of writing out points or lesson learned from the teacher or pastor, she plays tic-tac-toe with her friends. They gist, they play, they laugh, and that's the end of the service. He goes to church with his e-Bible, notepad. However, in church during the sermon, they were exchanging girls' contacts, play games, and argue about the last game, either football, baseball, whatever it is. That was what this regular Christian child went to do in church. They were born in church, but they were not born of God. They were dedicated to God, but every day they moved farther from God. They only visit his place of worship and don't even know who he is. They don't know who they are worshiping. They are there because their parents asked them to go along with them. It is not their fault. I am not blaming them here because they weren't told by their parents. They were only told by their Sunday school teacher who has few minutes to spend with them. And this is not enough. Imagine a child that only eats once in a week. I know what's going on in your head. And when I say once in a week, I'm talking about rushed food, maybe cereal or something light, because they have only few minutes to eat that food. Something that can easily be digested. They have family devotions in their house, but their parents are doing this either as a routine, just to fulfill all righteousness. And some days they don't even want to involve their children because they are late for work or they need to get one or two things to be done. And or sometimes they say they are not even children's teacher, they don't know how to communicate this to their children, and they just do it anyhow. It's not the fault of the parents either. Their parents are committed in church. This regular Christian child, their parents are very committed in church and devoted to God. In fact, before they even say Shakatale, God already knows that, yes, my child is calling me. They are devoted to God, but they are committed to their friends and their devotions, their Bibles, their books, and the rest. Their parents remind them of their assignment in school, but they would never ask them about church responsibilities or what they learned in church or memory verses. Remember, we're talking about the regular Christian child. Their parents read a lot, but they never buy them books to read. They tell them to go and read their school books. They will not remind them to read their Bibles. Even when they notice that they are lagging behind in some subjects, they get them lesson teachers to fill in these gaps. But they will never include the Sunday school teacher to teach them one or two things or subscribe to YouTube channels where they can learn. And even when their teachers in school ask them that we have rehearsal, we want to cover up for something, it becomes rocket science because they are either busy going from one seminar to the other, or the child is busy with the lesson teacher to learn one skill or the other. They are well decked in designer outfits. If you see them, they are dripping in glory. Let me use that way. On Sundays or anytime. But their spiritual outfits, helmet of salvation, sword of the spirit, breastplate of righteousness, full shoes of evangelism, their godly characters are nothing to write home about. In fact, I would say that in this aspect, they are naked. Their parents discuss with them about their career. Would you like to be in Nigeria or would you like to go abroad? but they never tell them about God's purpose for their lives and why they are here. Their parents are chosen by God Himself for the fulfillment of His agenda. He gave them everything they need, the requirements they need to raise this child spiritually, financially, emotionally, academic, so that what they have will be enough to and valuable enough to strengthen the gift He has given them. That's these children, but they get distracted by the gifts. Dear parents of a regular Christian child, you are called to raise arrows for God that will stand and speak at the gate of enemies. The enemy is on a recruiting mission. Dear Christian parents, parents to this regular Christian child, and not doing your job will make your child fit for the enemy's agenda and the enemy's rule. Your child cannot be neutral. In fact, when your child is neutral, remember the Bible says, if you are hot, be hot, if you are cold, be cold, because if you are lukewarm, I will spill you out of my mouth. Your child can never and never be neutral. You have to fill them with the word of the Lord. And that's why I want to encourage you to roll up your sleeves, get to work, understand the assignment, and sharpen your arrows. The Bible says in the book of Psalm 127, verse 3 to 5, that children are the heritage of the Lord. They are rewards from God. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so is a child of our youth. And you know, arrows don't just grow on a tree, they are made to raise the preserved generation, to raise Christ ambassadors. You have to do your work, because these ones don't just emerge. They yes, they may have Christian backgrounds, but Christian background is not the prerequisite for a preserved generation, for arrows in the hands of God, for choosing generation, for Christ ambassadors. Having a Christian background is not enough. Be intentional. And I'm asking you, dear viewers, especially if you're a child of God, are you raising a regular Christian child, or are you raising Christ ambassadors? The Bible says many are called, few are chosen. I would like to put it this way: many are parents, few are fulfilling the agenda of God. And remember, the Bible says, you did not choose me, but I chose you to bear fruit, and your fruit should last, your seed should last, your children should be preserved, your generation to be preserved. Christ ambassadors don't just emerge because they have Christian background. They are raised from God. Children are everywhere, but yours should be distinct. Don't raise another regular Christian child. Raise an army for God, because that is what you are called to do. Thank you for watching. I hope you've been blessed by what I just scribbled on my journal, and I would like to share with you. It is very bad of us as Christians to just raise a church goer, to just raise somebody that is going to warm the bench and all that. Having a child is another means of evangelism for us, and we should be able to stand for our own. Have you registered for Parenting is a Ministry? Understanding your ministry, your mission, why you have that gift is important. And if you have not registered, I'd like to invite you to join us on the 18th of May 2024, so that we can understand this ministry that God has placed in our hands as Christian, and not just raise a regular Christian child that is fit for the role of the devil. I pray that the Lord will help us in this assignment. Have a wonderful time. Thank you for reading through my journal with me. I'd like to read your comments also. I'd like you to share to your regular Christian friends. I would like you to share to your devoted Christian friends. And I would like you guys to subscribe to our channel. Have a wonderful time. See us next time. Bye for now.